All right, let's not waste any time. A lot of you excited about this chat. We've talked a lot about Derek Moneyberg over the past month or so, stemming from that confrontation with Sean Strickland in the hotel hallway. There's a lot to talk to him about. Let's not waste any time. Let's say hello to Derek Moneyberg, who is here in studio to talk to us right here and now. Appreciate him coming in. Hello, sir. How are you?
Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Thank you so much for coming in. Really appreciate it. And appreciate you taking the time as well. How are you?
Doing well overall.
Yeah? Overall?
Well, if you don't have a couple problems in life, you're not doing much of anything, are you?
Sure. Is there a big one? Or you're just saying the daily? Okay. By the way, just out of respect, what do you prefer to be referred to as, Derek, or do you want to go by your real name, which is Dale, right?
If you say my last name on the air.
Buzkowski? Did I get it?
That's why we use Derek Moneyberg. Because
okay.
In Poland, you'd say Buszkowski.
Buszkowski.
But nobody in America, nobody can pronounce the name. So this became a good marketing name.
So you prefer to be...
Derek is fine. You can call me either. I don't mind.
Okay. Where did you come up with the name?
I don't know, just a fun marketing name, you know. It has to be something, you know, related to money, because I'm in a finance or wealth creating type of business. And I'm half Jewish on my father's side, which, you know, some people say that's not a Jew. But my ancestors died in the Holocaust, so we were Jewish enough for that. And it was just a funny marketing name it's catchy, slightly obnoxious or provocative to some people, and it works, you know.
Just why didn't you go with Dale Moneyberg as opposed to Derek?
I thought Derek sounded fine.
Okay, all right. And when did you come up with this sort of persona? How long ago?
We started that business in 2019.
And what's that business?
So the Moneyberg business, so that website and the social media assets we started creating in 2019.
And who's we?
Me and my team.
Okay.
I own 100% of the business.
How many people are part of your team?
I have several contractors, and then a few people I work closely with, and then a couple extended groups of contractors and whatnot.
So when you say the Moneyberg business, that's the wealth management business?
Yes.
So people come to you to learn how to get rich, invest, increase their
the primary
portfolio.
First of all, I don't manage anybody's money. So to be clear about wealth management,
okay.
I don't touch anybody's money. I don't manage anybody's money. That's not the sort of thing that I'm interested in. I'll leave that for Wall Street people that are nearby here.
Sure.
But, I help people with entrepreneurship and help them understand how do we start a small business and scale that. I help them understand fundamentals of real estate and how to invest in real estate. And there's many ways to make money in real estate. And then I help them understand, you know, global markets, primarily the stock market. So
kind of like a consultant?
I think of it as like a wealth coach, or I try to help people make decisions that would lead to long-term wealth. There's no get rich quick. There's no get anything significant quick. But yeah, I try to help people think about their finances in a way that over a period of time that they could have a lot of financial freedom.
And this question may come off the wrong way, but it's not from a malicious POV. What makes you qualified to be that guy?
Well, I did all of those things.
Okay.
I built a real business. Unlike most people on the internet that talk about those things, I built a real business.
Which was what?
I helped build. Let me answer the question.
Okay. Well, no.
I built this business. I just got my ClickFunnels plaque for $50 million in revenue in this business. Previously, I was involved in a dating business that I didn't own, but I was involved in building it. And my brand within that business, we did about $6.25 million per year at the time that I left that business. I made tens of millions of dollars in the stock market. I made over $10 million in real estate and profits. I went to the #1 business school in our country. I went to University of Chicago's Graduate School of Business. So I do have the right academic credentials. I'm not a PhD. If you want to, there's a lot of PhDs that don't have any money. So most people on Wall Street aren't PhDs either, but they make a lot more money than PhDs do, you know?
So someone may be watching this and thinking, okay, why is Derek Moneyberg on? Is he on to just talk about, you know, being a wealth management coach? Of course, you're not on to just talk about that. You have become somewhat of a combat sports, and I should say specifically like an MMA/BJJ story over the past 3 to 4 years or so. I first kind of started to notice your work when, you know, I would start to see a lot of fighters with you on your show, a lot of fighters on your YouTube channel, on your social media. And the first thing that drew me to the scenes were that they were all wearing these shirts with you. And then we started to hear about your, you know, your journey as a BJJ practitioner. Mm-hmm. Could I ask, just starting at the beginning, your interest in MMA and BJJ, when did that begin, and why did you just start to feature so many of these guys and gals on your YouTube and your socials?
Related to that, and I'll answer your question directly, but just for one moment, you know, Duke Rufus died the other day.
He did, yes, on Friday.
About that, and I never met the guy, but I knew a lot of people. Bilal Muhammad trained with him, and you know, Alan trained with him. And I feel bummed that, you know, he was right in Milwaukee, and I wish I had the opportunity to meet him. And just last second brief thing,
sure.
Paulie Malignaggi I saw on your show.
Yes, yes.
And Paulie was, related to your question, Paulie was one of my first trainers. We worked on boxing for about 14 months together for, I don't know, maybe 40-something, 50 days we trained together.
Okay.
And,
is this before the jiu-jitsu? Was that like your first
simultaneously,
interest?
Simultaneously. Okay. And, you know, Paulie won his fight the other day. Congratulations. And he had a pretty serious eye injury that we've been talking about. And I hope you heal up well, Paulie. Big respect to Paulie. Thank you for everything you've done for me. And I hope you heal up well. Regarding, you know, that journey, you know, when I was a kid, I was, you know, I was in some pretty rough environments. And thankfully I was a bigger kid and I could protect myself pretty decently. But, you know, over time, I was always interested in martial arts, you know. Since I was a child. I think a lot of people are. Obviously, you are as well, you know? And I just never did that. And then, you know, after 2020, when you had all the crazy things that happened at that time and all the turmoil in the stock market, I did very well in the stock market. And I thought, yeah, you're really doing well financially, but I was 300 pounds. I was fat, 300 pounds. I was pretty out of shape. They closed the gym, so I was always good about lifting weights. Never trained MMA, but they closed the gyms and you couldn't go to the gym at that time. So, yeah, you know, I focused on money and I did very well in the market. And I found myself by 2021 in a situation, I'm like, wow, like you kind of made more money than you ever thought you might in your lifetime, you know, and you're 42. And, you know, what are the things you'd like to do with your time now? And I grew up poor and I really focused on financial things and educational things so much that that was kind of a weird idea for me at the time. I'm like, oh, like, of course, I'm going to still do that, but I could do other things too and have like hobbies. Hobbies was like a new idea to me. If that's, I mean, you must be a pretty driven and obsessive person yourself, you know? So maybe you could find that relatable in some way. But, so yeah, I asked Paulie. Paulie was a little bit of a fan. He had started writing me on social media. And then when I found out who he is, I'm like, oh, that's the guy that trained Conor McGregor. So I asked Paulie to come train with me 4 years ago this month. And then the next month I asked Jake Shields. I knew him for some time. I met him through Nick Diaz. And I asked him if he would come train with me. And then very quickly I realized if you're only training a couple of weeks, you know, 8 days a month, you're not going to get good at this, you know. So then I kind of scaled that up. I asked Tito Ortiz and Mike Chandler and a lot of other people if they would come, just people that I knew. And then pretty soon, you know, that expands. And, you know, as it's done for you, then, you know, quite a lot of people in the MMA community over time, you know.
And so this all leads to you getting your black belt. You have your black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, about 4 years later.
And from what I was told, it was around 3.5 years. From what I've read,
3 years and 7 months.
Okay, three years and 7 months, which is, as you know, you don't need me to tell you, an unbelievable feat, like almost unheard of. Some of the greatest BJJ practitioners of all time, BJ Penn, 3.5 years, Caio Terra, 3 years. Like you're in that discussion, and I think this has drawn the ire of the jiu-jitsu community. You probably don't need me to say this to you as well, right?
Well, BJ Penn congratulated me, by the way.
Sure.
And BJ Penn was my inspiration to do that. I knew about that for, I don't know the number of years, but maybe a decade before I started, that I'm like, wow, like if I ever do that, if I ever get into MMA, I need private lessons. I need to do that with the best guys because I'm getting, you know, I was getting older. You're not going to catch up. And
how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 46.
Okay.
So BJ Penn was like legitimately my inspiration for that I'm like, all right, if I ever do this, I have to do it the way he did and have, you know, private instruction with black belt, high level instructors from the beginning. Regarding the amount of years, yeah, maybe that's a shorter amount of years. Regarding the amount of time, I spent more time in the gym than most of these people that, I'm not a professional fighter. And I think there's some confusion on the internet about that. I'm a professional businessman. I'm not a professional fighter. There's nowhere on the internet that I ever talked about, you know, I'm going to win this competition. I'm going to win Worlds. I'm going to win ADCC. I'm going to be a UFC champion. I started in my 40s, dude. Like, that's not a realistic thing. It was never my goal. But it was a good thing for fitness. It was something that was in the back of my head that I always wanted for, like, self-defense, that, like, you know, I'm a big guy and I'm in my 40s and I can travel around the world and feel pretty safe. 20 years from now, when you're in your 60s, are you really going to be able to protect yourself or protect your girl or your family if you don't have some real fight training? It's probably not realistic, And I really like to travel. I've been in a lot of countries. Probably you have too. So, I'd like to have that confidence later in life, and it's a good fitness thing.
But because you are a businessman, that also calls into question how you're able to pull this up, because pro fighters are doing this 24/7 if they're able to, right? They have no other job for the most part. And so for someone in their 40s to get a black belt while also being a business and running this multi-million-dollar business, as you say, it does ring some alarms, right? You can understand why.
I'm not a Wall Street stock trader. I don't have to buy and sell and buy and sell. But sometimes I buy things, I might sell it 3 years later, 4 years later. So
but you're doing stuff in your business.
So I have to have an awareness of what's going on in the market day to day.
Yeah.
Regarding my business helping clients, it's like I spend time with clients. We do live events. I spend one time with clients for the right type of clients that have been around for a long time and been done their part. Then I'm happy to take their phone calls or help with things. But I don't exactly have an office to show up to or like a normal person.
But you have another job, right?
I haven't had a job since I'm 19. I have a business.
Meaning you do something that isn't martial arts related, isn't jiu-jitsu related, that I would imagine takes up a lot of your time. You mentioned some of those fighters, those pro fighters. I don't think ever in the history of jiu-jitsu has someone received a black belt with not any sort of competition on their resume. To the best of my knowledge, you've never competed in a Mundials or an ADCC, right? BJ got his black belt after winning the Mundials. Khamzat Chimaev got his black belt after winning the UFC title. Have you competed against anyone to earn this black belt?
I got my ass kicked for 2 years by a bunch of UFC champions and top
behind
contenders.
Closed doors, though, right?
So,
no one's able to see this.
I don't give a shit.
No, I understand that.
No one sees your bathroom or what you do behind closed doors either, because it's not
but I don't.
Business.
I don't get awarded a belt for my bathroom activities.
You got a
right?
belt, but change of context.
Sure.
You have a black belt as well, yeah?
I do not. Well, I have a black belt right here, and some might say, with all due respect, it's as legitimate as yours.
I don't know a lot about you, honestly. I see clips of your show, and I see people that come on.
The thing is, no one has ever received a black belt in jiu-jitsu without competing in events, and certainly no one has ever received it at your age. So you can surely understand why there's some questions surrounding the legitimacy of your black belt.
Questions.
Do you get bothered by this? Are you offended by it?
Not much, honestly. I think the people...
Because it's a big deal to win a black belt, to be awarded a belt.
The people that matter, the people that trained with me, which is quite a roster of people, many of them. The people that trained with me, they know where my skills are and they know what I've done. And the people, if you don't spend your life trying to satisfy random people on the internet either.
No.
You could never live your life this way.
My equivalent of your black belt is winning awards, Journalist of the Year awards. People see my work every day. Mm-hmm. So they're able to judge whether or not those awards were earned.
That's your profession.
I understand. But you still got a black belt, which is the highest honor possible in jiu-jitsu. In 3.5 years, if it would have taken you 20 years, people would have been like, all right, that makes sense. 3.5 years as a mid-40-year-old with fighters who, sometimes their decision-making is called into question, you can certainly understand.
Whose decision-making is called into question?
Are you paying these guys
of course.
To teach you? Of course. Are you paying them to come on your show?
I also paid tuition at my university.
Sure.
That's how that works. When you have a teacher or a coach or a mentor, you pay them.
But there's a conflict.
My clients pay me.
Sure, but there's a conflict involved when you're paying top dollar for people to come to your house and sleep with you, and then they want to sleep at your house, in another room or something, in your apartment, correct, in Chicago.
Be clear about that. They're not sleeping with
me.
Yes,
I mean like they're
people
bunking
stay in a guest room.
Exactly, in your apartment. That's part of the deal, right?
The people stay in a guest room at a property that I own.
But they spend the weekend with you. Like you'll have fighters come over. Yeah, I've talked to some of these fighters. I want to understand what your business is. And so my understanding is they get paid to come on the show, right? On the YouTube channel.
Depends on the context. The way that I've done that, I did interviews with 300-ish professional athletes and, people of interest, A lot of them were athletes, a lot of them were fighters. And yeah, some of those people came on because, it depends where they're at in life and what their circumstances are. I mean, some people, frankly, came on for free and maybe they should have paid me to come on because it did a lot more for them than it did for me.
I've never paid anyone to come on my show or channel.
That's okay. I'm not ashamed to say that I have. There's nothing wrong with that. If you respect someone and you value their time, then you should be their best option of what they should do with their time. So if I compensate somebody, they say, hey, would you go out of your way to fly to me and make time to do this with me? and then I buy their flight and give them, some amount of money, depending who it is. If somebody values your time, then you should show respect for their time, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, I get that. The issue I guess I'm bringing up is if someone is getting paid well by you to do this, and you're describing maybe some people who could use a buck or two, they're going to be incentivized to continue to be around you and reward you with these great things without there ever being a sort of checks and balances involved, which is the major competition. Do you not agree?
Do you know the number one thing that I pay those people for? Is harsh criticism. I want them to tell me the truth. What am I doing? I'd like them to tell me, hey, what's one thing that's gone well that I should keep doing? And I'd like them to tell me 2 or 3 things that we got to work on this. You got to focus on.
Why not compete in any sort of competition?
Because I don't give a shit. Because I'm 46 years old and I don't make money. I'm not a pro fighter. I never had the dream to be
not a pro fighter. But you have said you will compete against Sean Strickland, right?
That's a very different context. For him specifically, I'd be open.
He is a pro fighter.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to compete against him because you have an issue with him or you feel disrespected by him?
It seems like he has an issue with me. I've been nothing but a gentleman to him. Seems like he has an issue with me, and he said a lot of nasty things that are false.
Like what? Like what is he accusing you of that is bothering you?
You could look on the internet and see the things that he said, and I don't want to misquote him here, but no, he said a lot of things about my character, about my business that aren't true. They're outside of the black belt. Sean Strickland, he's allowed to have whatever opinion he might want to have about my black belt. He has a black belt. He's a world champion fighter. It'd be hard not to argue that he's a subject matter expert at fighting. So he could have whatever opinion that he wants to. When he says things about my business or about me personally that are derogatory, that goes beyond the realm of a fair opinion, and he's just being malicious at that point.
So if he would have just said, "Look, man, I don't believe you actually earned this black belt 3.5 years or 3 and 7 months," you'd be okay with that. You feel like he's crossed the line and made it personal.
Yeah, I think that's a fair way to say it.
Okay, because you had that interaction. Was that in a hotel hallway? Where was that?
We happened to be staying at the same hotel, so that was the lobby of a hotel, yeah.
Okay, and what happened there? Because you were saying that you were trying to talk to him, and then he started speaking into his phone, right? To his camera?
Well, you'd have to know a couple details ahead of time. Is, from the moment that I was presented that belt, which was July 3rd, I think.
Of this year.
July, yeah.
By Jake Shields.
Yeah. And also in the room were Glover Teixeira, Leota Machida, Frank Mir. So the 4 of them came to...
None of those guys have any connection to each other in terms of they don't come from the same lineage or train together. So it's kind of like this hodgepodge of MMA superstars, which is unique in its own right.
I don't know that I would call any of the 4 of them a hodgepodge, but
they are a random group of guys.
There are 3 of them are UFC champions.
I understand, but they're not connected.
Strikeforce champion.
They don't train together.
They're all jiu-jitsu black belts.
Okay, but historically you get a sort of belt upgrade based on your coach that you've been with from the white belt to the black belt.
I received my belt from one coach. I received my belt from Jake Shields.
Oh, all of them. All of them. No, brown, purple.
Oh yes,
blue. Yes.
And regarding the Sean thing, so those 4 gentlemen were in the room with me. That they had coached me, they had trained me, so they had helped me develop that skill set. And when we left that room, there's already commentary, a lot of congratulations and a lot of nice things, and then Sean Strickland had a lot of negative things to say about it. And again, regarding the belt, he's entitled to do that. He can have whatever opinion he wants to, but he never met me. He's never had a conversation with me, and he's making a lot of interesting assumptions or pretty negative assumptions based on that. But in any case, and I wrote him privately, and I was a gentleman about it. I wrote him privately, and I said, Sean, I asked you twice to do an interview with me, and you declined. It just never happened. And I know the guy that owns your gym, Randy Couture. I know your coach, Eric Nixick. I know plenty of people at your gym. Like, if you wanted to train together, we could. I'd be happy to train with you. If you have doubt, I'd be happy to train with you. So that's the essence, not word for word, because I'm not reading it, but that's the essence of our communication. Then he attacked me some more, and then he attacked me some more. And then I seen him in person. Then at that hotel. This is
first time in person.
First time we ever met in person. And we were. I was at Glover Teixeira's gym. Alex Pereira was doing his fight camp, training for his fight camp for the October 4th, I think, Magomedov fight. Anyway, so Sean had come to spar with Alex to prepare him for his fight as somebody that Alex invited. And I don't want to cause a fuss at their fight camp. I'm very respectful. If you look at anything that I would do on the internet, I don't go pick fights with people. I don't go talk bad about people. You have no idea that, hundreds of interviews, people said things that, maybe they got too comfortable and said things on camera that wouldn't be good for their career, wouldn't be good for their future. And I never publish that stuff. I'm very respectful to these people. They're people that I think very highly of, and including Sean. I think Sean's a very talented person. You don't become a world champion by accident. I think there's 118 or so UFC champions ever. So, you know, that's not an accident. He's a very talented person. It was a person I was interested in meeting, that I'd be happy to do an interview or train with or both. But anyway, he kept saying nasty things about me. And then I said the first time I see him in person is in the lobby. I just walk in the door of the hotel. I've been training all day with Glover and people at his gym. And then we went for lunch. And then Glover, I said, hey, just drop me off. I want to take a shower because I'm feeling pretty sweaty from early in the day. I said, let me take another shower and I'll meet you back at the gym. There's a class at 7, a class at 8:15. Then we'll do one-on-ones after, you know. And when I walk in the hotel, Sean is there. And I said, you know, Sean, will you take a minute to talk with me, please? And he's like, you know, he don't really want to. And I was like, Sean, I'm being respectful. I've been respectful. You say a lot of things about me. You never met me before. We never had a conversation before. And there's some chairs over here. Would you just take a minute and chat with me? Take a minute and chat with me. And I was very polite about it, you know. And then he don't want to do that. And I said, okay. So you want to say a bunch of negative things on the internet. You only can talk when the camera's rolling, and you can only talk for the internet. You don't actually have any interest in getting to know me, know anything about me. You just want to say nasty things on the internet. And I said, you know, I was at the gym all day yesterday. He was in town. He didn't go to the gym. I was there something like 11:30 in the morning, 11:45 in the morning to like 10:30 at night, minus we left for like 2 hours to eat and came back. So I didn't see you at the gym at all yesterday. You know, I have seen you at the gym all day today. And I'd be happy to talk with you if you want to roll respectfully. If you want to roll and test me, like, you know, come. I don't want to be injured. I'm not challenging you to a fight. But if you want to come roll with me, come to the gym and roll with me. I'm going back at 7. We could go together.
And then you just started talking to the camera.
And then I said to him, to his face, and again, still respectfully. I've never said anything disrespectful about him. I think he's a talented person. I like some of the funny shit he says. I don't agree with everything he says, but I don't agree with anything everybody's, you know, that's life, you know. Welcome to Earth. So I've always been respectful to the guy. And then I said, you know, if you really, I said, I don't even think you believe the things you're saying, but if you really believe that, why don't we do a public match? So I'd do a public match with you. And I said, you know, I don't think you could tap me in 5 minutes. I didn't say I could kick your ass. I didn't say, and I said, in a grappling match, I don't think you could tap me in 5 minutes. He's 12 years younger than me. He had his black belt for over a decade. Again, I respect the guy. He's a very talented fighter. Do I think I could beat him up in an MMA match? No, I don't think that'd go well for me. But in my grappling, I feel confident. Like, I don't think you could tap me in 5 minutes. That's all.
You think you tap him?
I don't know.
You think you can beat him?
I don't know. But I don't think you could tap me in 5 minutes.
What did he say when you offered him that challenge?
Well, then we start walking towards the elevator together. And remember, we're in a hotel. He made a comment that, like, yeah. Oh, I followed him. I'm like, where would be the natural place you would go if you walked into a hotel? You'd walk in and you'd go to the elevator because that's how you get to your room.
Right.
So we walked to the elevator together. And then he takes his phone out. And then, you know, totally different person on camera. So I think Sean likes to talk for clicks and views. Seems like a very insincere person otherwise, but he likes to make a lot of noise for clicks and views. Just my impression.
How many hours do you think you've put into the black belt?
At that time, something around 3,000.
3,000 over the course of 3 years and 7 months.
Yeah.
And when you train, I've seen there's very limited footage of you rolling with these guys. One thing that's been brought up is that you are often on the mats wearing socks. Mm-hmm. Why is that?
I'm wearing socks right now, by the way.
No, I know, but
your audience might be interested to know.
Yes, as am I. But when you typically see jiu-jitsu practitioners on a mat, they're not wearing socks.
Okay, that's their prerogative.
But is there a reason why you are? That you're sort of the anomaly when it comes to this. I've never seen this before.
Yeah, a typical jiu-jitsu practitioner is in a sweaty room with, you know, I've been to some of these professional gyms where. Right. I don't need to say their names, but nothing wrong with it. But I've been to some of the professional gyms where it's, you know, 80 degrees in the room and there's puddles of sweat, and you know what this looks like. You know what it smells like. I'm in a room with 1 or 2 people are with me, and it's air conditioned to my liking, and I got 15 rooms in that property that have marble floors. So if you want a funny joke, but happens to be true, is my toes get cold on all those marble floors. Okay. So I happen to wear socks around the property, and then we go over to the training room, and then we go train, and I have my socks on. And who cares?
Can I ask, how much have you paid Jake over the years?
I don't know exactly.
What do you think?
I pay him well.
What do you think?
A few $100,000.
Would it be unfair to hypothesize that he gave you a black belt just because you pay him very well?
Yeah, I do think it would be unfair for numerous reasons.
Why?
I mean, have you trained with some of these guys? And sincerely, I'm not trying to poke.
No,
at
no,
you.
I don't.
Like
I don't. I'm a journalist. I don't train with them.
I'm mostly a businessman.
I understand.
But yeah, I mean, if you there's Jake has come to me. We started in November 2001, and it comes like every 4 weeks. Plus, we've trained in other places together.
2001, 24 years.
21.
Okay, sorry.
My mistake.
No.
And thank you for correcting me. 2021, so 4 years. And yeah, he's come to me 50 times. He's never had an excuse. If he had an injury, he shows up. If I have an injury, I show up. We work around it. He's been a great person. He's helped me a lot. Chael Sonnen said about, actually I had a conversation with Chael Sonnen where he brought up a quote from George St. Pierre. He says, when George St. Pierre said that Jake Shields is the best MMA grappler ever, and Chael says, like, I thought to myself, is that true? Who's better? It's like, maybe Damian Maia? No, Jake beat Damian Maia. Maybe somebody else, I forget who else's name he said. He's like, no, Jake beat him too. He's like, shit, Jake is the best MMA grappler ever. So I think the guy's very talented. We could debate that, but that's what GSP said about him. We could debate, anybody could have a debate about those type of things, but he's extraordinarily talented. He's very loyal. He's been consistent. He taught
How many
me
black belts has he given out in his career? Has he awarded?
I'm not sure.
Do you think more than 5?
I don't, you'd have to ask him. I sincerely don't know. Really, when you said that, and this is a guess, and it might not be true at all. Really, the number that came to mind is 10 or 12.
Okay.
But I'm not sure if that's
true. So
true
it's an elite group of people.
I'm not sure if that's true at all.
Probably not more. I don't know many
sincere.
Jake Shields black belts. I know he's a part of the Cesar Gracie group and all that, but I don't hear of him awarding a lot of people black belts, which would then make your black belt extra special. Right?
I don't know I don't know what gradient of extra special. I don't know. It
feels very unique to me.
All right.
Do you have any interest in expanding into other, like, are you trying to get a karate black belt, a judo black belt? Like, where does this end for you, or are you content with this?
I've been training MMA, so I learned. My takedown defense is good. My takedowns are good. I'm not going to be some world champion fighter. I just want to be a good, well-rounded MMA guy that has good, solid self-defense, and I can take care of myself when I'm an old man. I don't think it's, the controversies online, people focus on 3.5 years.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal because this means the world to these guys.
No, dude, I did the same amount of training they did in less years. And I did it with their icons and idols, and I think there's a jealousy component to that. I do.
Respectfly, I don't believe that. These men and women
may not
do
believe
2-3 a days since they're teenagers, and it takes them 10, 15 years to get a black belt through blood, sweat, and tears, UFC title fights.
For some of that,
we've never seen you in a competition. We've never seen you in one competition, even like a white belt competition.
Because I never tried to be a competitor. I had no interest in that.
But then that calls into question this black belt. The black belt feels like a Happy Meal black belt.
Then you're here questioning it, and that's okay. I don't really mind if you question it.
You don't, because I'm happy to hear that, because you've had some issues with people who have criticized you in the past, right? There's a famous case with a YouTuber, Spencer Cornelia, where you... That's
not criticism. It's slander and
defamation. You felt like he was hitting you below the belt, so to speak.
He said numerous lies about me and repeated them to a broad audience.
Ultimately, the case got dismissed, though.
The next court date,
you're appealing
we're on appeal.
Yeah.
And in the Ninth Circuit Court, the next court date is less than 2 months from now.
So can we take a step back, though, and I'd love to know, because this is a rare opportunity to ask you about your past and history, because I think that's what, gets brought up when people are starting to look into this black belt. As you mentioned, tough upbringing, right? Didn't have, a lot to your name, had to fight, people would pick on you. Is that all accurate?
I mean, there's no context for the things that you're saying. So yes, those are accurate things.
You didn't have a lot of money to your name. You weren't a kid who grew up in a multi-million-dollar home.
No, I wish in some ways I wish that were true. In other ways, I probably am grateful that it's not.
It shaped who you are as a person.
That's fair.
Your first million came when? Late 20s?
29.
29.
28, 29, 29.
You had a kid, though, in your mid-20s, right?
I was 20.
20. Is his name Dylan? And do you have a relationship with him now?
I tried to be very good to him in the past, and we don't talk much. If he calls me, I answer his call.
How come?
If he texts, because he's my son. So if he calls me, I answer his call.
How come you don't talk much? Why don't you talk much to your son? Your only son, correct? Your only child?
Yes. Yeah, we just don't have that type of relationship.
Okay. Does that bother you?
I suppose I wish I had ideal relationships with my parents, and I wish I had an ideal relationship with my son, and then there's life, you know?
Did you not have an ideal relationship with your parents?
I don't think, well, I was going to say I don't think anybody does, but that's probably not fair.
I feel blessed.
Do you think you do?
Yes.
That's nice.
Yes.
That is something to be happy about.
Absolutely. You've had a few run-ins with the law, right?
I have. Expand.
Okay. 2006, obstructing an officer.
Dismissed.
Dismissed. And then 2006 and 2008, you were served a warrant for failure to appear in court, right? There was a warrant out for your arrest.
Is that for traffic? I'm not sure.
That was, I think, for obstructing an officer as well. But these are still run-ins with the law, is what I'm saying. Is that accurate? 2006, 2008?
Well, if you pull my criminal history, I can legally say I have 0 criminal convictions, 0. I've never been convicted of a felony crime ever. I had 4 misdemeanor convictions going back to 1997 when I was a 17-year-old child or teenager.
What was that one for?
Aggravated assault, I think. And so of those 4 misdemeanors, which I don't even have to talk about that if I don't want to. I can legally.
I think you have in the past, though.
I am again, so I don't mind.
No. I'm not unearthing anything that you haven't talked about in the past.
No, my clients know this. No one in the world that knows me well would be surprised if, like, oh, Derek had some misdemeanor crimes.
Sure. 2014, domestic violence and domestic battery, first degree. What happened?
Never had a court date. Dismissed.
What happened?
Nothing. Dismissed.
No, I know, but no one's coming to my house and arresting me for that. So something obviously had to an accusation.
There's a misunderstanding on the side of security at a hotel, as I recall. And again, this is 11 years old, so I'm searching. But anyway, I was taken to jail and then released, and I never even went to court. There was never a court date. It was.
You've never spent any time behind bars, even if it was one night.
When I was a teenager.
Okay.
When I was 17, and when I was 17 and 18. And I'll go back to that because those are the pertinent things. When I actually did have some misdemeanor convictions that you were digging for, I had 4 misdemeanor convictions in my life. Since then, I got 3 university degrees. Since then, I built a business. I did a lot of other things in my life since then, and 3 of those were expunged entirely, which means in the court's eyes, it never happened.
Got it.
Right, and the 4th one, the one that I mentioned involving the aggravated assault, is healed by the court. So if I fill out a legal document of any kind, I could fill out any legal document for the government, I'm legally allowed to say that I've had 0 criminal convictions ever.
And you can leave the country, you can travel. There are no restrictions.
I've been to 60 something countries.
And then the 5 properties that you inherited, I believe from your mother, right? After she passed, there was some questions called into that as well, right?
I think you got a few facts wrong, but I think you're talking about the legal disputes from 2012 where the 8th Circuit Court overturned that. It unanimously ruled
But yes,
in
for the
favor.
5 properties, right?
I don't remember how many properties are involved, but that had something to do with
5 properties were seized that you inherited from your mother over allegations that they were used for manufacturing drugs or used to buy via drug proceeds.
I never charged with anything, 0 convictions.
But is that the wrong way to describe what the
I don't know what the internet
accusation
says,
was? Oh, I'm asking you, not the internet. You're right here. This is a great opportunity to clear it up.
My name's not on that. And furthermore, the way that I recall this, and now you're asking me something from 13 years ago, I believe that's 2012.
But these are big moments in one's life that shape you into the person that you are today.
I don't think it's such a big moment.
No?
What is the big moment?
If I was arrested.
I wasn't arrested.
No one accused you of any of this?
I was never arrested.
You said you weren't.
I was arrested for what? At that time, are you talking about this case, or are you talking broadly again?
Well, just in general, if I was arrested once, it would be a big deal, let alone, these handful of times.
If you grew up where I grew up, the people that I grew up with, some of them are dead from drug overdose or violence. Some of them are doing 30 years in prison.
I get that.
And I'm like...
When did you graduate from college?
I avoided all of those things.
When did you graduate
I avoided, and I never had a drug problem. I'm not in prison. I've never been to prison. I never did all these crazy things. I had to go to a community college originally, to answer your question, because when I was 17 and 18, I was in jail, as I mentioned. I spent like 90
years was
days.
This?
1997. That you
were in when did you go to University of Chicago?
2011 till 14.
Right. So, I mean, this stuff we're talking 2018 here. So you're already a college graduate. You're not someone who's living on the streets when this stuff is coming into your life.
I was working on my third university degree in 2012-ish.
And so how were you able to overcome these things and then start to get on the, the straight and narrow so
overcome what things?
I mean, these are run-ins with the law right here. Are they not?
If you go outside and get charged with jaywalking, you've had a run-in with the law.
It's a little bit different.
No, it's not. There's no charges. There's no charges.
Fair enough. Okay, but
there's no charges.
Putting that behind you, because to your credit, since 2018, there seems like nothing's come your way. There's no drama of any kind. The biggest drama in your life is people calling into question your black belt, which we should all be so lucky, right? So how did you kind of put that side of your life behind you to where there's no drama?
Anybody that knows me well, I always keep my word. I always do the things that I say I'm going to do. I work hard. I've been a smart, hardworking person. Did I grow up in a beautiful place? No. A lot of people come on your show. There's not one fighter. There's not one person from my I was going to say audience. That's the wrong word. From my client base, there's not one person that would be surprised about any of this. I'm not. There's not a damn thing that I'm ashamed of.
That's how I found it. I've consumed a lot of your content.
Cool. I didn't do a damn thing I'm ashamed of. Nothing.
Real social dynamics. Mm-hmm. This is like a dating sort of guru that you were.
I never thought of myself as a guru, and I've never used that word about myself.
People come to you. You have these seminars, these boot camps where you teach primarily men on how to pick up women. Is that accurate?
People came to me mostly for dating advice about how to have better relationships. My number one city when I had an affiliate relationship with that company, the number one city was right here in New York.
Okay.
And my number two city would have been London. And so the primary client base that I was working with tend to be college educated people. I kind of thought of it like this, and give me 30 seconds to explain this. Sure. Is a lot of the problems that men have with their relationships with women, they either tend to have, and I'm speaking broad brushstrokes, so we can say this in a short period of time, but they tend to have either, value problems or marketing problems, communication problems, if you want to say. And, if you're a bum and you're kind of a shitty human and girls don't like you, then probably got a lot of work to do. That's not really the client base that I was interested in working with. What I did like working with and who I made real relationships and friendships, and some of them became my clients in my current business, are people that, maybe they spent their 20s, going to college, graduate school, building a career. They have PhDs, or they're attorneys, they're consultants, they work on Wall Street. And they're smart guys, and they're high quality guys. You would say an above average man, like a man with an above average income, above average education, good intentions with a woman. But it's kind of useless, doesn't know how to communicate very well with a woman, So if I could help that guy to be a better communicator and realize, no, you're an above average guy, you have a lot of good things going for you, and there's a lot of women that would like to meet you, but they're not coming to you, bro. You're going to have to walk up there and say hi and introduce yourself,
So when I asked you, what qualifications you have to be the wealth management coach that you've become, you explained to me the PhDs and all that stuff. What qualifications did you have to be this dating coach, if you will?
People got good results and they kept coming back. And I don't know what would be the qualification.
I don't know. I don't know what becomes, how you become that guy. I wouldn't even know where to begin.
I say this respectfully. I don't mean to be disrespectful. I have no disrespectful intentions towards you whatsoever. But that's like saying, why are you qualified to run the show? It's I don't know, because you're pretty fucking good at it. You're good at it.
I went to Syracuse University, have a broadcast journalism degree, so I would say that's the biggest qualification, plus the hours that I've put in. But yes,
I didn't know about the degree, but I would say the primary thing is you're good at it.
Did you get a degree in dating? Dating advice?
I only had degrees in business. If there's one, maybe there's some new politically correct thing that I'm not aware of, where you can get a degree in victim studies or all kinds of shit today. So,
why'd you stop?
That company, that was the coolest thing in the world. They started that company in 2002, the co-founders, and I met them in 2003, and I was around from that time, and we had a lot of fun. And you're in your 20s. A guy named Neil Strauss. I don't know if you know who Neil is. We're not friends, but we're not enemies, but we just haven't seen each other for a long time. A guy named Neil Strauss, wrote a best-selling book about that kind of brought that as a more mainstream thing. He also wrote a book about Motley Crue. He also wrote a book about Tito Ortiz's ex-wife. So he had a lot of best-selling books. And yeah, he was writing a book about the company. Courtney Love was living in the house with the main guys that owned this. Courtney Love was married to Kurt Cobain. So Courtney used to make me some chocolate chip cookies and, be Courtney. And Courtney is exactly, when you see her on television, that's exactly how she is in real life, So she's different but delightful in her own ways. But yeah, it was fun. We were in our 20s. It was fun. The guys that owned the company, they're in Men's Health magazine. They're in Rolling Stone. It was a cool thing. And you're helping out a lot of guys that there's no shortcut in life where you're going to be like, you get a lot of big things that you don't deserve. One of my favorite quotes is from Charlie Munger. Charlie Munger is the long-term business partner of Warren Buffett. Recently passed away about 2 years ago now. And he used to say, the best way to get what you want in life is to deserve it. And that really echoes in my head. I like that saying quite a lot. The best way to get the things you want in life are to deserve them. The world's not such a crazy place to go around highly rewarding a bunch of undeserved people.
I've heard you say poverty is a lifestyle choice.
In a first world country, I think that's true.
That's tough.
It is tough. I grew up tough, and I decided that choose to conquer saying,
right?
It means like you could choose to overcome your current circumstances and earn better circumstances.
But sometimes people, you're put in a situation, there's bad, there's a lot of things.
I could have said all the same things.
Sure.
When you're poking at me right now, I could have said all the same things.
Do you consider this poking, or do you think that these are
a good journalist?
Fair questions? I would say no. Would you not say?
I think you are poking at me, and I also think you're being a good journalist.
I appreciate that. Different style than the ones, the kind of interviews that you have on your show, right?
We're good.
Can I be honest about your videos?
Lie to me.
Okay. I won't do that. I'm not a liar.
Go ahead. What do you got?
I'm a little uncomfortable sometimes watching the interviews because it feels to me like these are fighters who are taking a paycheck from you, just being honest. I've heard around like 7,500 or so. Is that accurate?
That sounds pretty high to me.
Okay.
Even with inflation, that sounds pretty high.
What is it per appearance?
It depends who it is. Some people I give them nothing, and some people I might have give them
feel
five.
Bad for those people. Other people are getting paid and they're not getting anything?
Well, when somebody shows up on your show, you have to make a decision who you're going to put on your show or not. Who are you going to? So there are some people, they're at a place in their career where they're a talented person, where I personally like them. And I think let me help give this guy some attention. Maybe that's good for his career. Okay?
I guess the thought is that people think that...
And if I could fully answer, then, there's somebody else. It's if somebody's a multi-time UFC champion and I pay them $5,000 to show up, then I'm just showing respect for their time. There's a lot of things they could do for that.
Do you think you can get guests without paying them?
I get a lot of guests without paying them.
Okay, so then on the show, it seems like it's a lot more of you talking than you interviewing them.
Okay. I'd like it to be something like 50-50 storytelling.
Do you think it is?
I've never measured it, and I don't really give a shit. I feel comfortable doing exactly what I'm doing, and a lot of those people, that was a good vetting process, if you will, or a feeling each other out process, where I asked a lot of people to do interviews, and then if we kind of had a natural fitment together, then I say, hey, would you consider coming to train with me?
Right, I've heard that. Like you'll
That's been very useful.
You'll pay them X amount to come on the show, and then you'll say, hey, here's a deposit or so to come to stay with me in Chicago. I heard you have an incredible place in Chicago.
It's a nice place.
As far as the wealth management is concerned, how much do people actually have to pay you? How much do people have to pay you to do these?
We have programs starting at $97. And then we have things that are only available to somebody who's been around, has gone through the courses, who knows the material. They're going to be able to have a coherent conversation in a room full of people that have similarly, gone through the same training, and we can talk about, those topics fluently, between real estate, interconnection of business in general, of entrepreneurship, real estate, stocks.
Because I saw some of the numbers, and again, this is not my world, so I could be completely off base here, but the numbers seemed, quite high in terms of how much, courses I saw are from 5,000 to 20,000 to even one-on-one mentoring for around 60,000. Is that accurate or no?
Yeah, the 5,000 to 20,000 is very common, and then we've done a few one-on-one things where somebody requests something specific or particular that we could do, one-off things for more money. Sure,
it's a lot of money. So you're dealing with a higher echelon of clientele.
I don't. The people that are interested in learning about business and finance they're trying to make serious money.
Right.
So I don't think it's so much money when I pay somebody $5,000 to come do something for me, and they have to post
reviews, right? Testimonials.
Reviews is the right word.
Okay.
We have how much footage where I say, you are required to create a review as part of the homework.
Yeah.
You can say
midway through, because all the ones that
you can say in your review, you can say, Derek's kind of grumpy and I don't love his personality, but I learned some useful things from the program. You can say whatever you want to. They can say anything they want to.
I saw a lot of
but
reviews.
They are required to post a review, or to create a review.
Midway through, right?
I don't know what week it is. Week 4 out of 10 or something, maybe?
Well, I saw a lot of the reviews said, I'm halfway through. This has been incredible. Like, I saw a lot of the ones on your website, and they're all positive. But it struck me as to why everyone was saying, I'm halfway through. Like, why not just wait until the end to give the review?
We do them at the end as well.
Right. But why do they have to do it? Is it because I also saw you say if you don't get your review in by tonight, you're out?
It's a feedback mechanism that I can understand. Where is that person in the course? I can see their face on a video. I can see them saying to me, this is the good and the bad. It allows me to create a linkage of that face and name more strongly. And it's a feedback mechanism. I think we really do like week 4, and then it's due week 5 maybe. So that's what.
So the whole thing's 10 weeks?
2 of the programs are 10 weeks, and the one about entrepreneurship is 12 weeks. That it was just a lot, and I put more in there, and it's a lot of information to cover.
Okay. And then what happens after the 10 weeks or 12 weeks? Like, what happens when you're done?
Then they're done with that course. They could choose to.
Is there some sort of guarantee, like, okay, you're going to set them up with X, Y, and Z, or is it just like, hey, good luck to you?
What?
Like a college diploma, basically.
It means they went through that course. There's no guarantee. I went to the University of Chicago.
Sure,
and you went to journalism school. Did you get a guarantee?
Yeah, I just wanted to know. I've never taken one of these before.
I didn't get any guarantee with any of my diplomas, but they were certainly very useful to me.
What's the issue with Mikey Musumeci?
I think a lot of that's smoothed out, actually. I think
you just posted like 2 days ago on your channel.
And we had
called him a Jiu-Jitsu Judas.
And we had a conversation since then.
In the last 2 days?
Yeah.
Okay. And so where are we at? Well, because that's news. This is breaking news.
Breaking news.
This is Frank. Hit the music.
No, I spoke to Mikey since then.
Thank you, Frank.
It's cute. I love it.
Thank you.
I spoke to him since then, and I think there are a couple things where I think he miscommunicated a couple things, and I think that he had good intentions overall. Mikey's a good person. I don't have anything bad to say about Mikey.
He's tried to
even
distance
in that video
himself from you, it seems like.
Would you like me to answer the first question, or are you going to just?
No.
Then let me answer the question.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
I'm sorry, I'm long-winded.
I know. You have a heart out too, so I'm trying to.
But I am trying to give you.
I get it.
But I am trying to give you a sincere answer.
I appreciate it.
I spoke to the guy on the phone for 39 minutes. Okay, and he said, "Hey, Derek, I didn't mean it that way. I apologize if it came off that way."
Mean what?
And mostly,
just because I don't know.
Well, he made comments in some of the other videos, in a couple of interviews that he was in. He made comments that well, Derek doesn't train, Derek doesn't this and that, and he clarified that to me that from his perspective, the guy's something like a 20-time world champion. He's UFC champion twice now. I think he won Worlds 5 times. I think he was 5 or 6 time champion at one championship. He won some other big tournaments. The guy's amazing, by the way. He's super talented. He's brilliant. So there's a lot of things I really like about Mikey, and I don't want to say one bad thing about him. But when he makes some of those comments, then I'm like, why? What are you doing, bro? And then he did it again, and then he did it a 3rd time, and then he did it a 4th time, and I'm like, I have to address that after the 4th time, and and I think from his perspective, and I'm not putting words in his mouth, but he and I are going to leave that lie. But my last word on it, it'll be on your show, okay? He said, from his perspective, he's like, Derek, I spent my life training to be a world champion, and that's how I think about, training is like, you're not doing that kind of training. And I said, well, I never said I could beat up Nicky Rod. I never said I could beat up Gordon Ryan. Gordon's a good friend of mine. When I roll with Gordon, he fucks me up in about a minute, in about a minute. Gordon's amazing.
Should a black belt be beat up in a minute by
the best guy in the world
ever?
But I'm
just saying,
get the hell out of here.
Black belt versus black belt.
If he beats me up in a minute, I don't know what he'd do to you, but it wouldn't take a minute. It wouldn't take a minute.
I would have a negative white belt if I went in there. I have no skills whatsoever when it comes to this, but I'm not parading around with a black belt and trying to defend.
I'm not parading anything. I don't give a shit what the public thinks about my black belt.
There was
the coaches that trained with me know.
Yeah.
The coaches that trained with me know. The people that matter know. And the people that don't know, it's not my job to satisfy every critic and hater in the world.
That's fair.
I don't. You know what? Critics don't get paid much.
You don't care what people think. So can
why
I ask?
Should I care what why would I care what a random person thinks?
Okay, so then that's you should be that way. why when I go on your Instagram, do you have like 40, 50,000 likes, but 100 comments? That would suggest to me that a lot of those likes are bought, and that would suggest to me that you do care what people think if you're buying those likes.
You know, marketing is marketing. You market your show the way you want to, and I'll market my brand the way that I want
That's
to.
100%, but you just said you don't care, so then why would you buy
You're changing
engagement?
the context. You just changed the context 3 different ways.
How? How?
So we were talking about Mikey, which I was going to clarify and say the last word here, and I'll do that, and then we'll carry on as you wish. But Mikey and I are good. I said, I don't think it's fair to be held to that standard that I'm supposed to beat world champions. I never trained to be a pro fighter. I'm not a pro fighter. I'm a hobbyist fighter. I train for self-defense. I'd be very effective in those areas. Mikey and I are good. So shout out to Mikey, respect to Mikey.
Darth Rigatoni.
Darth Rigatoni, indeed.
Man.
That guy's very talented. I like him. I respect him, and I wish him well. And neither
Will
one
you
of us
follow
have
this up on your channel or no? Or are you just going to leave?
I'm here with you.
No, I mean, but your last video,
maybe it's on my
Judas
maybe it's on my
Jiu-Jitsu.
to-do list this afternoon.
It's a tough title to give someone. You and Jake Shields spent 45 minutes slagging him off, the poor guy.
I wasn't mean to him in that thing.
I thought you guys were a little harsh.
I thought he was harsher.
Okay, fair enough.
And we had a conversation since then, and I'm done with that.
All right, fair enough.
And I respect him, and I wish him well. And you know what? And I'll probably take the video down furthermore.
The Instagram likes, they're bought. You've just confirmed that.
I didn't confirm that at all. I don't manage every little thing in my business.
Do you buy
I do have
Instagram
marketing
engagement, social
agencies.
media engagement?
I do have marketing agencies that help me with things, and however they want to run things. If the results are showing, then I'm good with whatever they do.
But that's hollow, no? Isn't that hollow? Because then it's not real.
You know the one really weird criticism is sometimes people say like, you bought followers, blah blah. Like, there's bots.
Yeah.
Well, everybody has bots, and I don't want bots.
Sure.
And you don't want bots, but you have them. And
I don't buy.
I don't either. I don't either. And you know who has the most bots is the more famous you are, or the bigger account you have. I read, I don't know if this is true, but I read that Kim Kardashian, like 35–40% of her followers are bots, like fake. Not because she bought them.
Well, they're attracted to the big sites. They come to the big sites because they're. But your thing
That's
has
what
like
I've heard.
50,000 and then like 100 comments, so it's unbalanced. And then you go on your YouTube, it's the same thing. It's 50K, 30K, 40K, but the comments kind of give it away.
I think we limit the comments in.
Oh, you
in some
do?
of those. I
How
think we
come?
limit the
How come?
comments in there. Because it's my fucking house, and if somebody wants to come shit on my floor, then they don't need to be there.
Oh, so there's a lot of spam. There's a lot of.
Well, there's also, if you run a business page, you may or may not know this. If you run a business page, then you'll have like extraordinary amounts of spam that are like, crypto by Christie, 6241. If it wasn't for crypto by Christie,
50K likes to like 75 comments. No.
I'm not a social media expert.
What about YouTube? Do you buy those views on the channel?
No, I don't think we buy views on YouTube. No.
Okay, so
I don't think so.
That's all legit.
I get like 20–30,000 views on most of the stuff. Do I run ads to stuff? Yeah, I run ads to promote some videos.
Sure.
You know who else runs ads? Apple, Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
If on my Instagram, and I posted a screenshot recently because people were saying like, you're paying for this, you're paying for that. The views that I was getting from advertising was less than 2%. And during the peak of the hysteria, when everybody is super excited talking about my black belt, it was like 0.8%. It was less than 1%. So we're not paying significantly for views on these things. We run ads to targeted groups. That's called a business.
If a guest comes on your show, do they have to wear the shirt?
If they don't want to wear my shirt and support my brand, then.
But is that part of the deal?
It's not like we have like a contract or a lengthy negotiation. It'd be like, hey bro, would you put this on, please? Okay. We don't have a contract.
No, I know, but the vast majority, if not all, I saw DJ wasn't. He's one of the few that I saw are wearing the shirt. So I wondered how that worked.
In a different video with me, he is wearing a shirt.
Oh, okay. So DJ, I take it back. You wore the shirt. Point is, I've never asked someone to wear something on my show, so I was wondering how that happened.
It's not part of your branding, but it's part of my branding.
So do you tell them, hey, if you come on and I pay you X amount, you have to wear this shirt?
Bro, these are relationships. It's not like contracts. I'm
not asking for a contract, but if you're literally standing in front of someone and be like, yo, man, hey, here's the check for whatever, and here's the shirt. Please put this on if you want to be on the show.
I think they understand. If you look at any of my social media, you see people wearing those shirts. Okay?
Sure.
It's part of the branding that we do. So if a person, I've never had this precise conversation. I've never had a person object to, I'm not wearing that shirt.
If
And I said,
someone
well,
would
you know,
object, would you say thanks but no thanks, no interview?
maybe.
Yeah. It's a
Maybe.
big deal. I mean, this is all part of the...
Is it? Should Apple not put they shouldn't put their logo on the phone?
They're selling a product.
I am too. I have a business.
When you're doing the interview with
I
someone...
have a business.
Yeah.
I'm selling a product. You also are running a business, whether you know it or not. I think you know it.
Yeah.
You're also running a business.
Sure.
And there's a look to your show. There's a feel to your show. There's all these trinkets and memorabilia, which are super cool. I keep looking at some of them. They're super cool. A little distracting. They're so cool. Sincerely. So, yeah, there's a look to your show. There's a feel to your show. It's your show. That's how you know it's Ariel's show.
No, I get it. I guess to circle it all the way back, because I know you have to go very soon. I appreciate, again, you coming in. You got to go soon, right? That's what I was told. Yeah.
Let me just check the timing for 1 second. We got 10 minutes.
Yeah. I got my clock right there, so don't worry. I'll get you out before. The point is, there's people who don't believe. Essentially, if I could boil it down in the most raw way possible, that you are who you say you are because you're paying famous people to hang around you, do things that you want them to do by putting on your shirt and almost being like a sponsor to them, and then they're gonna, they're gonna hook you up with stuff that people put their blood, sweat, and tears and never accomplish in their life. That's what this boils down to. That's what I think Sean's issue is. That's what I think the jiu-jitsu community's issue is. And I guess your reluctance to acknowledge that is what rubs people the wrong way. That's my read on the situation. Is that fair or unfair?
You can have any opinion you want to. You can have any read that you want to. I know what I did. Before one of you guys reached out to me and asked me about coming on your show, okay?
For the record, you reached out first.
I don't know about that.
Yes, you did.
I asked.
I have the DM.
I'm not arguing with you.
No, but I don't want you to throw my guy under the bus.
I'm about to say something complimentary.
I know, but I just want I like truth. You reached out to me. I could read the DM right now.
This is what happened. And
I told my guy to text you because you gave me your number.
This is what happened is my name was mentioned on your show.
Yeah, we talked about the Strickland, and then you reached out to me to come on the show, and then I told Eric to reach out to you, and he said you were lovely. So there are no issues there, but I want the record to be accurate.
I'm not trying to misstate that.
Sure.
I heard your name was brought up on my show. So for clarity, my name was brought up on your show.
Yep.
Somebody sent that to me. Somebody sent that to me, and then I reached out and said, "Hey, if you want to talk about it, we could talk about it."
And you were great, yes.
So, in any case, and then I asked ahead of time. I said, I asked about you to a couple fighters that I know, and Henry Hooft. Henry Hooft is a kickboxing.
Love Henry.
He's a great guy. And
Killcliff.
Yeah, Killcliff Fight Club. Shout out to Henry Hooft.
Yeah.
And Henry said very good things about you. He said, of course he's going to poke at you. He's a journalist, but he'll treat you fairly. And
poke seems so negative, though, if I'm being honest.
He didn't mean a negative. You
said poke. You said poke.
He gave you a good compliment.
All right,
and here I am. And by the way, I think you're a good journalist.
I appreciate that.
You're
Did you enjoy this?
There's a reason that I enjoyed most of it. I need 30 seconds at the end to look at some of your.
Can we get a Derek Moneyberg bobblehead?
I don't know that I have one.
You don't have one?
If you know how to make them.
Come on. I have a hard time believing that. All the wealth that you have.
And get you a Derek Moneyberg coffee cup or a T-shirt.
Not as fun. Could you imagine a Moneyberg bobblehead? Be incredible on the desk.
Put it on the list.
Put it on the list.
If I send it to you, will you put it here?
Absolutely.
All right, there it is.
Can I get your black belt for the desk too?
I think I'll keep my black belt.
Okay,
and you'll
fine.
Keep yours.
Is it a Jake Shields? Like, is it branded? American?
He signed it. He signed it from Jake Shields. And
wow, do you wear that? Because it would devalue it. The signature.
It's
you don't wear it when you roll?
I have my own walls of trinkets where my university degrees and some other awards and stuff are.
Mainly gi or no gi you do?
No gi.
Okay, no gi. But then you got the belt. Do you ever do gi?
I was interested in gi. I'm not going to wear a gi. I trained for self-defense, man.
Sure. Do people?
Hoist Gracie comes over and trains with me. He's okay if I don't have a gi.
No, I understand.
You may be okay with it or not. I don't care. I don't really care what somebody else thinks about it.
Do any of the guys ever say no socks, or they don't care?
This is an internet thing, for Christ's sake.
No,
you're smarter than
on my life. I saw it and I was like, that's unique. I mean, I've watched.
I don't know if the biggest thing, if they want to look at feet, there's a different website for that. I don't even know the name of that website, but I've heard there's a website. That's a good retort. For that. So that's a good retort. If you got guys in your audience that are into a foot fetish and they really want to know about my feet, I don't know, man.
What is the end goal for you as far as your martial arts journey is concerned? Are you just going to keep doing this until you can't?
I just want to keep training. Man.
Are you training as much?
I'm 46, so I have to be mindful about longevity things. There's not a lot of people that are, in their 60s that are training hard. So, I trained very hard, and I want to be mindful about longevity things and not, I have a couple injuries that I don't need to talk about on the air, but,
taking it easy? Are you taking it easy right now?
No, I'm on my same training schedule. When I fly tonight, Lyoto Machida is going to be waiting for me. We're going to train tonight. Late at night, we're going to be training because I'm going to land at, 9 p.m. or something. And, we're going to be training at midnight tonight.
Wow. Where? Like in which state? Which state?
I don't want to say that on there for his privacy, for my privacy.
I mean,
if you want me to tell you privately,
no,
why do I got to tell somebody on a live show?
I'm just curious.
Hey, this is where I'm going to be at this time today.
What do you have that paranoia? Do you feel like people are coming after you?
You have all kinds of people say mostly very nice things in the DMs and some ridiculous, horrible things in the DMs. And realistically, if you have a big following, which you do, and you understand this,
I get it.
If you don't have some awareness of your safety, then
I get it.
That's naive, You have a big following. And one out of 30,000 people is like a true sociopath, psychopath it's a real problem. So if you start having a big audience, you have some of those people in your audience, and I have some in mine, and you should be mindful about your safety,
Do you think you'll ever get to a point where you're awarding people black belts? That's sometimes what happens.
I'm not trying to run a gym, man. If you want me to answer that question fully, if my goals going forward is, I want to keep training. I'd like to avoid injuries. I like to build my skill set, not get injured too much, same as any other intelligent person in life. And I really like martial arts. I was interested in it my whole life. I have a lot of respect for these people that I have amazing coaches. I had one of the most amazing, I don't know who had a more amazing coaching team. And I don't mean that in an arrogant way of like, if you've seen the roster of people that I had the privilege to learn from, it's still surreal to me.
It's a who's who. It's the best team money can buy. But I don't say that in a facetious way.
It's true.
But you have put together a 1927 Yankees-like lineup of coaches, if you get the reference.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And most people aren't as lucky as you are.
I don't know that I was lucky. I think that I worked my ass off. I got a lot luckier after about 3 decades of hard work.
Right. I don't mean lucky.
I bet you got pretty lucky after 10, 15 years of hard work.
I don't mean lucky in terms of, I mean like to be able to have that type of disposable income, to be able to fly people to your house and stay with you. And
there was times I didn't have food when I went to sleep as a kid.
Right.
And
but that doesn't justify.
And I decided, that choose to conquer thing I mentioned, I decided to work harder and overcome my circumstances and earn better circumstances.
It's a real American success story.
And I think that's a fair way for anybody to live their life. And wherever you're at, you could do better.
So in conclusion, you're not looking to fight or compete in any sort of competition. We're not going to see you at some ADCC tournament or anything like that?
I'm not a professional fighter.
But you're a black belt.
Okay.
But
there's a lot of black belts that are not professional fighters.
But I've seen them compete.
I've
seen every single one of them compete if they are.
It's their prerogative. They can do that.
But if Sean Strickland accepts your offer, the official offer is what, 5 minutes, and he can't tap you.
I don't think the guy would tap me in 5 minutes. We have a legal.
That's the offer.
We have a legal dispute to clear up first.
Oh, what's that?
If he's open-minded about that later, I'd be open-minded about it.
What's that?
I'm not going to discuss the legal thing, but he has a pending legal case.
Are you suing him?
Pending. I am suing him
for defamation.
I'll let my attorneys deal with that.
Okay.
I do it. It looks like I'm going to have to sue him, yes.
Okay. Because of the things he said?
He said a lot of very nasty things that are true, that are false, that hurt my reputation and hurt my brand. And so I don't like that.
If he says yes to the match, does the case get dropped or the lawsuit get dropped?
Those are two separate things.
Okay. So that has to be settled first, the lawsuit, and then the match?
I think that would make sense, yes.
So I feel like we're not going to see the match. I was kind of excited about it, to be honest.
I asked him to his face before this if he would like to do the match, and then he continued to say more false things and repeat lies and create new lies. And I wish it wasn't that way.
Okay.
I respect him. I think he's a very talented fighter, and I have a very good relationship with many other people around him. So I don't know why he made that decision, but that's the decision he's made.
30 seconds left. Is there anything you want the public to know? Maybe your non-Derek Moneyberg type of audience member to know about you and to clear up before I say goodbye?
I grew up poor and I worked hard, and I think anybody, wherever you're at in life, people ask me, how do I get started? Where do I get started with money or with MMA or in any context? Accept where you're at right now. Take an inventory of your life and be honest about where you're at right now. What are the assets and what are the liabilities? And start right now. Get rid of some of those liabilities and build new assets. And over time, you could create a lot of wealth. You could create a lot of success in whatever area that you most value. Choose to conquer. Best wishes. Ariel, thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Good luck to you. Congrats on all your success. Appreciate you coming in. Look at that, right on the dot there. We got you out. Man of my word. My producer will bring you in here. We're gonna forego the break because we have Chito Vera standing by. You know Chito Vera?
We've met each other and been in the same room and probably shook hands. But last time I seen Cheeto, we were at Madison Square Garden together.
Okay.
In a VIP room in the back.
Okay. Connor, if you're out there, is Connor out there? Connor or Eric, anyone? Okay. Need someone to come in and walk Derek out. Thank you so much, Derek. Really appreciate it. All the best to you.
You as
Thank
well.
you. Yeah, good luck.
Quick photo together.
Oh, sure. Let's do a quick photo. We'll just keep this going, guys, just because I don't want to lose Cheeto.
Where do you want to be?
No, come right here. Right here.
All right.
Here we are. Do I have to pay for this? I'm kidding.
No, but you have to wear the shirt.
No, I do not.
Right on.
There we go. Thank you, guys. All the best. Good luck to you. Good luck. Eric will walk you out. Appreciate it.
Oh, good.
Derek Moneyberg, everyone. Thanks for coming in.